Jessie, thank you so much for letting us come and see you and the horses this morning ahead of the SkyBet Ebor Festival. It looks like there's a real buzz around the yard. Do you get that sense ahead of such a major meeting?
Oh yeah, and we've just had Galway and we've come off a bit of a high from there, so everyone's buzzing around the yard and now looking forward to York.
And how are you doing ahead of York?
Oh, I'm doing very well.
Great.
Oh, everything great. No, looking forward to coming over.
Good stuff. You've had success there in the past. What is it about York that you particularly enjoy?
It's just it's a very good festival. It's a lovely festival. It's a great atmosphere. I like actually just watching all the people who arrive in, and it's rather like going to Liverpool on Ladies' Day. It is absolutely amazing, the sights you see, and amazing seeing people enjoy themselves. And they're not really interested. They're not really there for the racing. They're there for just the crack. Yeah,
and there is great crack to be had, great racing to be had. On the whole, how would you assess the strength in depth of your team this year?
Well, hopefully I'll have a few runners. You never know. Everything goes wrong just beforehand, or the ground changes. I have some fast ground horses that I want to take there, and I've got horses that I'd like to take that go on slow ground. So we'll just see how they work out.
If we can we just go through the runners that you've mapped out or penciled in at this stage?
Yeah.
In the Great Voltager, Kinesiology, who was second to the Euphrates last time out, what sort of form is he in going to the Great Voltager?
He's in great form. We've avoided the race in Leopardstown tomorrow, and hopefully, I want to go ahead for there. He's in very good form. He's a horse that likes good, quick ground, and I think he would suit York because it's a good galloping track.
He was a 1.25 mile maiden winner at Cork. He's had 5 career starts, like a lot of the horses in the Voltage, and hasn't had loads of racing. What do you think his optimum trip and ground is? Well,
I think probably he'll eventually end up going 1.6 miles. And he likes good ground, I know that. We ran him last year on soft ground and he didn't like it, and I haven't even dared try it this year. And he was due to go to Newmarket and it started raining, and so I withdrew him. But he likes a bit of nice ground.
Obviously, given he's running in the Voltager, it is a key St Leger trial. Do you have classic aspirations for him at the end of the year?
Well, I would hope so. He's a nice 3-year-old, and I think he's gone on improving all year.
In the Stayers handicap over 2 miles, sponsored by SkyBet, you've got Taipan penciled in for that. We just saw him actually out and about this morning. Is he a bit of a character? He's a great character.
Unfortunately, he was having a great year last year, and we had great plans for him. And unfortunately, he had a small injury. And so from June last year, he didn't run, and he came back. We've been trying to run him for about the last 6 weeks, and every single time the ground's come up where we wanted to run him, but the ground's come up good to firm. And I just didn't want, because of his injury last year, I didn't want to run him on that. So anyway, we finally got to Galway, and he ran a great race, beating Run for Oscar, who's a good, steady, 2 mile handicapper, and I was absolutely thrilled with him. So, there's a very good chance he'll go there.
He's obviously always been a stayer that you've held in fairly high esteem. He ran in the 2022 Irish Cesarovic. He ran very well in that. He finished 7th. Obviously, he's had, as you've mentioned, that setback. But have you always held him in the sort of upper echelons in your staying division?
Yeah, he's always been a really nice horse, and from the time he was a 2-year-old. And he'd just been a bit unlucky. He had an injury as a 4-year-old, and which kept him out for most of that year. And he came back last year, and he's come back better again this year.
Do you think he's well handicapped?
I think he could be.
Exciting. In the Goldtrees, it's a race you won a few years ago, actually. It was the Marquand versus Doyle short head photo finish. I think you got the best of the argument with forbearance. And we were just chatting actually over a cup of tea this morning about it being named in honour of Sir Henry, and there's a very sort of iconic and great trophy that you win, and indeed you have one. Is this a race that you like to target?
Yeah, I do, because it's a filly staying race, and I usually have a good few fillies, and hopefully it is a race that I would have a couple of fillies for. You've got 3 actually shortlisted. If we can go through them, starting with Scarlett O'Hara, who was second in a good listed race at Clairefontaine last time out. How's she? She's in great form. 1.5 miles is probably as short as she wants to go. She's a big staying galloping filly. York again would suit her, and she, the quicker the ground, the better she likes it, believe it or not. And she's another Frankel filly that wants quick ground.
Starry Heavens is dropping back in trip, another one you've got possibly for the Gold Trees. Just explain the reasoning behind that.
We stepped her up the last time to a mile and 6, and she actually didn't really stay. She's a master craftsman filly, and I think 1.5 is her limit. She's won a listed race over a mile and a quarter.
2 starts ago at Haydock, I think it was. So you can sort of put a line through that, I think it's fair to say. But the Curragh form, I mean, it was, painful viewing.
Very painful viewing. Going everywhere we shouldn't go.
That was an understatement. But the Curragh form, the run before Haydock, when she was third to Candleford, has worked out really well. That's very strong form that gives her a right chance at York, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And she goes on any ground. She'll go on soft ground, she'll go on good ground, and she's very adaptable.
So again, given her versatility in terms of ground and what you've learnt about her regarding trip, it sounds like York could be ideal for her.
Yeah, I think it will be. And again, her style of running a good long straight suits her.
And Riviera Queen's in there. She was second in the Fillies Maiden at the Curragh. Will she need to step up a bit to figure?
She would need to step up, and she probably would only go if the ground had a good ease in it.
Okay.
It will be on weather watch for her. Like the other two will definitely go on quick ground, and she wants a good ease in it.
In the 7 furlong handicap, there's a really interesting horse called Rakna, owned by the Blessing in Disguise partnership, who sound, from the conversation we had before we started this, like the luckiest owners on the planet. Just tell us a story about them.
About them. Well, they've been incredibly lucky. They had Modem, which actually Kate rode in the big amateur handicap at Galway, and it's every amateur's dream to win it, and she won it on Modem for them. And then they had Norge, which ran around England in every race, won at Ascot on Champions Day, the handicap. He was a great servant. And then this year they had Going Remote, a maiden running in the Ulster Harp Derby, and he goes and wins it for them. Break your maiden in a £100,000 handicap is quite nice. And then Rakna is another complete story, because Kevin bred Rakna, sold her as a yearling for 80,000. So she was in an online sale last year and bought her back, I think, for 30. We won a race. We won a race with her in Dundalk just before Christmas, and then she went on Good Friday and won one of the Lingfield races, which was a nice pot. Since then, she's been running regularly. She ran in Ascot, finished 8th in the Sandringham, very hot handicap. Since then, the other day in Galway was her 3rd run since Ascot, and she was running off 82 in a listed race, and I actually rang Kevin in the morning and said, they're getting rain in Galway. She doesn't like soft ground. We know she doesn't like soft ground. Will I pull her out? And he said, no, we're all down here. We might as well run her. And she goes out. She loves making the running, and she got out and got on a nice, easy lead in front, and Gary Carroll gave her a great ride to win.
Remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely remarkable story.
They need to do my business deals. They sound incredibly shrewd. Sell her for 80, buy her back for 30, and win fortunes in prize money. She's got a remarkable constitution, given how much she runs, seemingly. Is she just a dream to train? She's
easy for filly to train. You take her out, give her a few canters, run her, and she seems to every single time come up trumps.
Does she need to make the running?
She prefers it. She likes it. She likes getting her own way in front. She has come from behind, but she basically, if something goes very quick in front, she's quite happy to let them go.
Obviously, she won the listed race off 82, not that it's relevant, but she has been given a hike in the handicap, and she will be in a handicap at York.
Yeah.
She's now rated 93. Is she well handicapped off 93? Probably is, given her listed form.
Given her last form. If she turns up in good form, she'll give it a whirl.
You mentioned their other horse, Going Remote. Is he going to run in the Melrose?
Yeah, he could easily. He's in. I've got 2 horses, him and another horse that's in the Melrose, Mowgli Maha filly. They're both in the Shergar Cup at the weekend, and I'll just see whether they go there. But Going Remote could easily go there and go to York, and so could. They're both again good, tough 3-year-olds, which have taken a lot of racing this year.
It's always a good race, the Melrose, isn't it?
It's always a good race, and it's a nice race to win.
The Strensall Stakes, every race at York's a nice race to win, but so is the Strensall Stakes. Norwalk Havoc's in there. Would he be ground dependent?
Yeah, he's ground dependent. He needs a good cut in the ground. If you got rain, we'd be delighted. but I don't really want it from most of the other horses. So we'll have him in there and we'll just see what happens.
You ran into an inspired Wayne Hassett ride at Galway last time out with Mexicali Rose, who was given a peach. You finished second and ran with a great deal of credit behind that horse.
Yeah, and that's a handicap that 3-year-olds actually have a very bad record in.
Right.
And he ran an absolute blinder. Stayed well, loved the ground. Seemed to be well amused by the track, going down uphill and down dale. He really, he enjoyed himself and ran out really a genuine second.
It sounds like when you look at your whole runners, you don't know whether to do the rain dance or not do the rain dance, because some need soft and some need quick. So
yeah, so hopefully we'll have a couple of runners.
Me in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. And the big one, of course, is on the Saturday, the SkyBet Ebor, and it's a huge pot, and I'm sure every trainer, because of that and the prestige of the race, wants to win it. You've got two possible runners in it, two likely runners in it. Yashin, who has tried an Ebor before, 7th in it last year. How's Yashin?
He's been good. He started off the year very well, twice finishing third to Kyprios. Everything kind of went wrong in Newcastle, whether he didn't act on the surface, but we also came back after that, and we actually did a little wind up on him, and that seems to have really worked on what we've seen of his work since. He'll be going straight there. He's not going to have another run. He's going to have probably a racecourse gallop. But he's a horse that runs very well fresh, because he's actually his best races are usually off the winter break or off a break.
He's a massive horse, isn't he? 17-1, I think you were saying.
He's a very big horse, and he loves quick ground. Again, I do not want any rain for him.
He's a big gross horse who likes quick ground and likes racing fresh. It probably goes against the MO normally, doesn't it?
Usually, yeah. It's also, he is himself.
I remember going to Newcastle and everyone was talking about him for the Northumberland Plate. Obviously he had great form with Kyprios. It didn't go according to plan, but clearly he's a very talented horse to be doing what he did against Kyprios. And it sounds like you can put a line through that. You've made a few tweaks and he could be bang there at York.
Well, I'm hoping so.
Do you think you've learned more about him this year than 12 months ago, when obviously he tried an Ebor and finished 7th? Yeah,
I think probably we know we can ride. We know, I think when he ran in the Ebor last year, it was the first time he'd gone 1 mile and 6. And we weren't certain he would stay, but he definitely stays, and I think probably needs to go up to 2 miles now, or would be competitive at 2 miles. So I think we have learned a bit more. He's racing. He used to race very free, but he's much more settled this year.
What about Satin? We haven't seen her for a while. How's she?
She's fine. She had a problem with a tooth and a sinus infection, but she's grand now. We may give her a run next week, or we'll give her a racecourse gallop. But she's in great form, but she's sort of, because of this, it's been lingering on a bit, and we finally got it cleared up now. She has actually been ready to run for about the last month.
In an ideal world, would you like to get a run into her before York?
In an ideal world, I would, but I'm not sure I'm going to get one.
Okay. Do you think she's well handicapped?
I think she could be. She did, she did her last run in England last year in Newmarket. She was second, third in a handicap, carrying top weight. And I think, she's definitely got bigger and stronger since then.
I'm going to ask you a horrible question. Who do you think of the two has a better chance of winning an Ebor?
Oh, it's hard to say. Depends on the ground, depends on a lot of things. It depends on a bit of luck.
You do need luck to win an Ebor, don't you?
You've got to get a clear passage, you've got to get travelling, and get your run in. Last year, Yashin got no run at all. Frankie rode a brilliant race, and just every time he wanted to go somewhere, Frankie just leaned over into him one way, then the other way. So Shane had nowhere to go. But anyway, we'll be well aware of everything this year.
Really exciting. Best of luck with all your runners. Do you stay up there at York? Do you catch up with friends in England when you're over there?
I could do. It just depends on what's going on here and what racing we've got here. I know it clashes with a Curragh meeting here, and I would be pretty certain that I'll be over there on the Saturday, and I might be over earlier in the week.
Well, we look forward to seeing you at York. Thank you for the tea, the sausage rolls, welcoming us, and good luck at York.
Thank you very much indeed.